Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Welcome everyone to Casual Conversation with GNA. Today we are here with Conversation 95 Power Grid.
Eileen, what is the power grid?
What is the power grid? I'm not too sure, but if I had to make any assumptions, I would say that it's what controls
Most of our electricity, maybe?
Yeah, running water, sewer systems, I'm assuming, electricity.
I guess we're going to find out. We're going to learn together. But let's do roll call. Blues and G Music. Hi, friend. How are you? Nice to see you. And I'm glad you're here. It makes me happy. Hey, Mr. David. How are you? I hope you're doing well. Paper Chaser, welcome. All right. Can't hear you. I can read your sign language. Wait. Can you guys hear us? I hope you guys can hear us. Let us know if you can hear us just to make sure. Let's see. Oh yeah, they can because I can hear them. Okay.
Oh.
So we're gonna get into the power grid. I know that there's been, hey Hexen, how are you? Nice to see you. So we're gonna get into the power grid. So I've always heard about the power grid, listening to Coast, and there's always been a concern about it, right? What if it goes down? What if it gets attacked, or a solar flare hits it and then we're out, So I thought maybe we can learn together about the power grid. How fun.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting.
I mean, if you guys know about it, please share. Please share what would happen. I mean, we were looking up some stuff, and I mean, I don't know, Eileen, you want to
Yeah, you want me to go ahead and get started with this?
Yeah, go ahead. Eileen's going to get started.
Okay, so expert. 90% of the US population could die if a pulse event hits the power grid. Okay, so that's the topic. So when a large electromagnetic pulse, which is an EMP or geomagnetic disturbance, GMD event occurs, which there is 100% certainty will happen at some time in the future. As many as 9 out of 10 people in the US.
Dude,
that's a really big
all these number throwings is making me nervous.
Yeah, that's a huge number.
All right, let's get into it.
So, Johnson, which is the chairman of the U.S. Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs, posed questions to witnesses testifying on Capitol Hill. He asked the chairman of the Foundation of Defense of Democracies and former director of CIA what would happen.
Sorry.
Let me see. What would happen to society if an electrical grid were to be down for an extended period of time, such as a year or two? And he responded saying it briefly dealt. No, sorry, my mistake. There is essentially two estimates on how people would die from hunger, from starvation, from lack of water, and from social disruption. So one estimate is that within a year or so, 2/3 of the U.S. population would die. The other estimate is that within a year or so, 90% of the U.S. population would die.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, so we're talking about total devastation. We're not talking about just a regular catastrophe. So,
okay, so when we talked about the grid going down, right? What is going to cause it? So GMDs, naturally occurring solar magnetic disturbances. So that's a solar flare, right?
Yes.
Which would disrupt the Earth's magnetic field, which in turn can induce currents of electric grid that may simultaneously
Mm-hmm.
damage or destroy key transformers over a large of geographic area. Okay, so I guess the solar flare has that advantage against us, I guess. I mean, I hope it doesn't happen. An EMP is can be generated by devices that range from small, portable, easily concealed battery-powered units all the way through missiles, equipment with nuclear warheads. In the case of former equipment is readily available that can generate localized high energy bursts. Okay, so basically like somebody attacking it. And then I read also that there could be like a cyber attack, which they were talking about in the news recently, right? So those are probably two of the biggest reasons. I mean, there's also other reasons that can cause it, like weather. Let's say if we overstimulate it, like if we're using too much energy,
Yeah.
then it goes down. But those I feel are more controllable than a
Yeah, because I feel like when that's happened, I remember a while back receiving a message like that there was like an overuse or something like that. And it sent like a message out to all the cell phones. So
yeah.
I can see how that can be more like managed,
Yeah, because in our
manageable.
city, I know that they were doing like rotating shutdowns or blackouts because of how much. I think, and it was during the summer too,
Yeah, it
because
was
of
during
how
the
much
summer,
power
yeah.
we were using,
Yeah.
that it was like putting strain on our
Yeah.
power grid.
Mhm.
So it sucked because it was freaking hot.
Yeah.
We get over like 100 degrees out here. So
Yeah, and it was extremely hot. Like you just had to be like throwing water on yourself to like
Yeah.
just cope.
And I think there was also another one. I think we went out of town and it was out for like 8 hours for like a whole day. But thankfully, like, I was worried about my food. I was like, what if my food goes bad?
Yeah.
All right, let me see if we have any new. All right, so if the grid went out, we'd be screwed, not in a good way. Yeah, that's scary. Forget about money and fuel also depends on the time of the year. Exactly.
Mhm.
So if it's like winter, we're going to freeze. I mean,
Yeah.
especially like we need fire, right? Fire, water, and food. That's what we need to survive. I mean, shelter, right? But I feel like if you're cold, you'll die faster than if it was hot, no? Because if it's hot,
I mean,
you sweat.
it's because when it's really hot, like it's hot, man. I'm just thinking about the summers we have, and it's just like
Hey,
unbearable.
Gregory. Yeah. Funny that happens just when we have another weird unidentified balloon over Utah. Always stuff happening. Yeah, so all right, let's get back into it. What else is gonna happen? Okay, so the scale. I guess there's scales on how it could happen. So a minor outage would be a weak power grid fluctuations can occur. Migratory animals are affected. Okay. Higher levels, visible high. Okay, so that wouldn't be too bad. Moderate. High altitude power systems may experience voltage. What? I can't read
Alarms.
this.
Long duration storms may cause transformer damage.
Okay. Corrective actions to orientation may be required by ground control. Possible changes can drag affect orbit predictions.
HF radio propagation can fade at higher altitudes, and aurora has been seen as low as New York and Idaho.
All right. So a strong power outage would be voltage corrections may require false alarms triggered. Okay.
And so for spacecraft operations, surface charging may occur on satellite components. Drag may increase on low Earth orbit satellites, and corrections may be needed for orientation problems. Other systems, intermittent satellite navigation and low frequency radio navigation problems may occur. FH radio and Aurora has been seeing as low as Illinois and Oregon.
Huh. I don't know. I don't know what this is, dude. Like,
I know, huh?
I'm like, what are they talking about? This is way too, I don't know. All right, let me go back. Geomagnetic storms. So it's happened before. I mean, I know that when we've had outages, people, I mean, we've seen like with Texas, remember when it was like in the winter?
Yeah.
And they were out for like a couple weeks. Was it weeks?
I think so.
They were out for a while and people were like freezing.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was, they were freezing.
The good thing about that though was that they were able to travel and get out of the city
that's true,
and,
that's
you know,
true.
like find what they needed. But
imagine if it's like you're saying like a whole world's catastrophe where it's happening everywhere and you have nowhere to go. Like, yeah, that's intense.
Let's see. So what can be done? Eileen, go ahead.
So people tend to think of it as science fiction. People get into not wanting to think about it or not wanting to worry about it because it's too terrible. Even though the consequences of an event seem quite dire, there were suggestions offered to lessen the danger. So here are 4 recommendations regarding the bulk power system. So federal policy and practice are missing programs for the following, right? So training and equipping utility and transmission operators to bring down within seconds, switch off transmission lines that are at risk of being damaged, implementing rapid islanding of the power of the grid to maintain a large fraction of the power consumers in operation by the use of whatever island generation capacity exists. This also facilitates restoring the bulk power system to operation in contrast with a black start.
So kind of maintaining it and making sure we're ready to just go out there and fix whatever needs to be fixed.
What? That's a long time.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That's true, but I have heard that it would take years to fix. Yeah. If it went down totally, but I've also heard that we can protect it. I don't know how, I don't remember. Oops. But I've heard that we can protect it and we can prevent from these things happening, but we don't want to put the money into it or something. I don't know. That's what I heard the last time they were talking about it. All right.
So fitting transmission lines on a priority basis with neutral current blocking devices, which are capacitors in the common neutral to ground link of the 3-phase transformers of EHV transmission systems at one end of the line, whether 3-phase transformers or 3 single-phase transformers.
Homie.
Where transformers at both ends of
Autobots
I know, right?
What
I'm like, okay, are they gonna help us?
What do they say? Autobots what? I was saying Autobots assemble.
Yeah,
but that's Avengers, no? All right, so I have no idea what they're talking about, but it seems like fixing it.
Yeah, something about blocking capacitors and power lines themselves should be installed. And the last one is alerting grid operators and others of high altitude nuclear explosion within milliseconds of the event.
Okay.
By detection of the unambiguous, very brief E1 pulse. Wow.
Wow. I don't know, man. That's too complicated. So okay. So basically that's what they think would happen. But I wanted to show you guys this because let me close this one. This one's pretty good too. So let me see if I can share. They're talking electrical equipment. Yeah, right?
Okay.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking like
That they were really talking about Transformers.
yeah, like the Transformers are coming and they're gonna help us. Okay. So let me see if I can show you guys this because this is pretty interesting. When I found it online, I was like, wait, what? What's going on? Window. Okay, so check this out, guys. So basically, this is a basic structure of an electric system. Let me see if I can. So I guess this is how it works. I mean, you know,
Yeah, very.
it just goes up like that.
And then it goes up even further and then goes in there.
And then it goes into these little guys
Yeah, it
right
goes
here.
into those 3 spots.
So, I mean, that's basically how it's supposed to work. But I think there's other things that I was looking at here that I was like, wait.
It goes in through 1, 2, 3, 4 computers.
We don't know what we're talking about here, but I found this article. Let me see if you guys can see it.
It seems like an interesting article if you know like
Yeah.
what it.
I was looking into it and I was like, wait, what? That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it has an interesting title, right?
Yeah. And so basically it just it's like a report that they did that talks about the power grid, right? And then it gets into all the stuff that could happen, what could be affected.
Oh, it has a interesting section.
Yeah, telecommunications. Your phones are going to be out. Your banking is going to be done.
Vulnerabilities. That sounds interesting.
Petroleum and natural gas, transportation. I mean,
food infrastructure.
I guess the railroad, the food system, water infrastructure. So it has like a lot of really good information. Space systems. Yeah, so maybe we can get into some of that. Sorry if I'm going too fast, but wait.
You're trying to get to the pictures?
Yeah, the pictures are pretty informative. That's what I was trying to show you guys because I don't know what that is. Move on. There's another little guy for you guys right there. But I saw some pictures on here that were, sorry guys, I'm a little sick too, so my nose is like, all right. So I guess this is how it works. It's all connected.
That's wild.
So basically the world would end, right? If it gets attacked. But it has a lot of like information. Anywho. Okay. So let me see if there's any other pictures. If not, then we're going to move on with the other one. I just find the pictures interesting.
Yeah.
All right. What is this? Maybe this is our power grids. Like, I don't know. Guys. No.
Wow, it's a long.
Yeah, it's really long. There you go. See? Freeways are down. Yeah, you guys. So it's like really long. I don't even know. Wait. I saw
You skipped a
something.
picture.
Huh.
Oh, that looks interesting. Local, the Backbone Network backbone.
Let me see.
A lot of computers.
Computers will be down. All right, let's see. No more Facebook
A
or
lot of
Instagram.
wires.
Oh, they test it. Look, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
Cell phones and beepers will not work. Secure. I don't know what that is, but it looks like a beeper, you guys.
I think it's an article from the 90s, right?
All right. So what is this? Percentage of calls completed immediately after an EMP. 4 hours later. It doesn't look too bad. But yeah. So this article is pretty interesting. I mean,
it looks pretty interesting, you know?
Oh, there you go.
So crude oil, right? Pumping stations, imports, refineries, import and export pipelines. So and how that all leads to like stuff that we use.
No
right?
airplanes.
Like, yeah.
No gas.
Yeah, for vehicles or boats. So you can't go anywhere, right? Because you
this
don't
little
have...
thing right here, this little factory looks like one of the big factories that we have in our in our city. So that thing's not working.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. Yep. Because it can't be exported, it can't be, you know, all that stuff.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
The refineries won't be working, the pumping stations won't work.
Wait.
The visuals are very helpful. And I guess same in other countries. I'm assuming.
I'm like, there you go. The little
right
transformer.
The control factories with that equipment. With the I think these are the ones that are in the those that they have the little power lines. Right?
Power generators.
And that looks like a tower.
The cell tower. I mean,
here is a pie chart, right? Metals.
Something about the railroad, you guys.
Coal is very important, right?
Yes.
The railroad, right? Yeah.
They thought about everything up in here, huh?
The traffic boxes where they have the lights.
Where they take your picture if you run a red light and then you have to pay like $500.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Video camera, see?
I will not be mad about that.
Yep. And what else? The diagnostic.
The remote control. The remote control is not going to work. That's what it looks like.
It looks like those diagnostics that they use
the ones for the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, to check what's wrong with your car.
Yeah.
Hey, we're laughing now. Wait till it happens. It ain't going to be funny.
It's not going to be funny.
Let's see. We're almost done with this thing, guys.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
So commercial air traffic in airspace. Right?
Okay.
Food infrastructure, food
Oh,
distribution.
see, that's scary.
Food supply, because blackouts will have disrupted the transportation. I believe
Yeah,
that's what it says.
for sure. And then food's gonna go bad.
Yeah. And then, I mean, if you think about it in terms of like how it played out during the lockdown, right?
Mm.
That was crazy. That was wild.
I think people are gonna start attacking each other, and
Yeah,
that's
because
just...
honestly, like it was very wild how the grocery stores looked with like zero food. You know,
Yeah.
it was insane.
Yeah, so I don't know, man.
And you just have to find ways, like when situations like that, you have to either like have connections, right, to help you like find places where you might be able to locate food, or just, right? Like, I mean, what other things can you do?
Oh, I think this is the aura that they were talking about, no?
Oh, yeah. I thought that was bacteria when I saw it.
No, see from the...
Oh, yeah. So maybe they're gonna go haywire,
line
right?
line
They
of
might.
sight, nuclear detonation.
Wow. Whoa. X-rays. Wow.
Oh no. All right, let's see. Wait. What's this? Oh, we're skipping that one.
Some numbers. You got yourself numbers.
Graphs.
Yeah, graphs and number charts. And
this is pretty cool, man. They did their work.
Yeah, they really did.
All right. Okay.
Oh, and that was it.
So let's see. Hey, Frankie Too Sweet. My God, New Jersey looks like ground zero. In New Jersey. Don't they care about that? How are you? Oh, we need corn, rice, beans, wheat. That will keep us if you store it right. Yeah. I heard that those can last for years, actually, if you keep them stored, the way you're supposed to. But I have this little article on how to survive if the power grid goes down.
So it's a power grid failure preparedness guide.
And it's from ammo.com.
Oh.
Let's see. Okay. So this is more like electromagnetic pulse. We talked about that.
4 things that would increase your chances for power grid failure.
Weapons can abruptly, right? Do a lot more damage when detonated in low orbit. So
don't be using
a nuclear weapon. And then
so it would interact with the atmosphere, which includes the ionosphere. So teeming sea of electrons that make the satellite communication possible. The end result would be a shower of electricity on Earth, which is something we've never seen. It might take down the power grid for the entire half of the country, or it might be localized. Either way, if this happens, we're in for a huge shock. Solar flares, right? So that would take a huge chunk of the power grid, and it's pretty much the same as an EMP, but except this is a natural phenomenon that cannot be controlled by mankind. This is when the sun decides to send off huge solar flares. There's precisely nothing we can do to prepare for it. it has happened before. In 89, a solar flare knocked out the power for millions of Canadians for 9 hours.
Wow.
How likely is this? Some scientists might have speculated that it is a when, not if situation that is more likely than an EMP attack. So
the cyber attacks we talked about, I was like, okay, well, how can that happen? Malicious hackers, either to employ of terrorist groups or foreign state actors, are looking into ways to disable the American power grid through the cyber attack. Even low-level cyber vandalism could knock out the power grid where you live for weeks.
Wow.
Homie. While the power being on in the rest of the country would make things easier, you'll still need to prepare even for a brief localized outage. In the worst case scenario, the same hackers can cause localized disasters around the power plant using the machinery.
Because just to like scenario wise, like we've had outages the past couple days, right? We've been having some outages, and I think it's due that they're like making this new track of homes close by, and I think that they're probably, like, I don't know, like I think that's probably the reason. But even not having like electricity for that amount of time, it's pretty tough, whether it be like 4 hours or what have you. Like, it's pretty tough because you kind of get like into a routine where you're used to having electricity,
Yeah.
So even though it's gone because they've told you it's gone, like I still go into the habit of like turning the light switch on even though it doesn't work on, and you just kind of like have to like remember things like that, like, oh, there's like things you just can't use,
Right.
So I can't imagine like not having it for like an extended amount of time, Infrastructure failure. So the American power grid is old and poorly maintained, which means it doesn't take an EMP or a solar flare or cyber attack from international crime syndicates to take it down. In fact, an electrical grid failure in one part of the country could quickly spread to another due to the grid's connectivity. So with half of the country on one grid and the other half on another, the entire grid can go down like a house of cards. As you can see, there are a number of threats to the power grid. Some of them are man-made, some are natural, and others are just due to human failure or the effects of ravages to come. Any way you slice it, the power grid going down in whole or in part isn't an idle concern. It's something that could happen in any second. So here are ways that you can prepare.
How can we prepare? The biggest thing you're going to need to worry about in the event of a power outage is water supply drying up. Unless you have a whale water, which Eileen was talking about.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll just go to the whale and get water. I was like, okay, well, where's the water whale?
Yeah.
You're probably on a water system that needs electricity to operate a power outage at the water treatment or processing plant. Means that you will lose access to most of the basic necessities of life, water. This means you need to start storing your own water as well as planning for the contingency that the water supply as you know it is never coming back. All right. 1 gallon of water per person per day is the minimum. That includes 1 gallon per day for your pets as well. This is the water you're going to need just to drink. I guess you're not taking a shower, guys.
Yeah.
But also for cooking, bathing, and cleaning your clothes and food instruments. You go through a lot more water in a typical day than you probably think.
You do.
So storing a lot of water is key to surviving even a moderate outage. Coming up with your own water supply is ideal, as you will find that water stores take up a lot of space quickly.
Mm-hmm.
If you live near a water supply like a river or stream, that's great. Just know that you're going to have to boil the water 60 seconds to ensure that it's totally safe for drinking. Beyond that, if you want to be extra prepared, look into digging a well and getting your home onto well water. If that's possible, you will have virtually endless supply.
And let me tell you something about water. Okay, like water, I feel like that's really up there. You know,
Water.
It really is top priority because, you know, even though, like I'm telling you, we got outages, like even though we have these outages, I would rather still have water than not. You know what I mean? Like I would rather have like the electricity go out than not have water.
Dude, forget toilet paper, water, right?
Yeah.
Like people were hoarding toilet paper.
Yeah.
And I mean, eventually they got the you know, like,
Yeah.
hey, we
like
need
water is precious though. You
All right,
know?
let's see. Mm,
Oh.
people with hearing aids aren't gonna be able to get their batteries. I know. Or pacemakers. Dude.
Wow.
If a nuke goes off, if you see that flash, you got 5 seconds to live. A low orbit nuke detonation will really mess stuff up. Hey, Miss
Hi.
Arlene. Welcome. Wedge. Hey, friend. How are you? Actually, 3 gallons per day per person will cover cooking, etc. I get getting my info from the Bear Internet. From Bear Internet. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good.
Yeah.
If you get good info from there, let's see. All right. Hold on.
So, food. Food is second for a reason. You'll die much faster from dehydration than you will from starvation. What's more, people in dire straits with food have often come up with rather creative solutions about how they can feed themselves in a disaster. All of a sudden, that can of water chestnuts you've had in your cupboard for months is starting to look pretty good. All kidding aside, preparing for a food storage or an interruption in the food supply chain is something you should be preparing for. There are a number of ways this might happen, but if the power grid gets knocked out, you can bet your bottom dollar that the food isn't going to be coming for a while. Stocks on the shelves will dry up almost instantly as word spreads. That's and that and what's more, are you even going to have cash on hand to pay for food, or are your banking and other supermarket being able to take your debit card?
Homie, I'm stealing. I mean, right?
Yeah. I mean, anytime meat or dairy goes above 40 degrees Fahrenheit or more, then for more than 2 hours, consider it unsafe to eat. Digital thermometers might be convenient, but keep in mind that if a nuclear EMP will drain every battery in addition to knocking out the power grid.
What?
So have an old-fashioned analog version on hand just in case.
Is that the one that you shake that has like, what is it?
I think you're right.
The thermometer that has like mercury in it.
Yeah, I remember those. Let's see. Can you scroll? So, freezers are great because the food will stay good for 2 days. You can use that time to start cooking food in advance. Sure, the cooked food might eventually go bad, but it's going to have a much longer shelf life than the uncooked food getting warm in the freezer.
You know what's a good idea? Like beef jerky.
Oh yeah, beef jerky.
Right? Because you have meat. All you have to do is dry it out.
Yeah, and my dad, he has like a beef jerky thing.
Yeah, he made a little beef jerky maker.
Yeah, he made it, right? Because he was a welder, so yeah, he like made that himself, and yeah, he would make like his own beef jerky. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I had mentioned before, the supermarkets, right, during the lockdown and how crazy that mess was, and there was just absolutely no food, and it was a wild time because, you know, where do you get food, especially in a moment like that where like you weren't prepared, you didn't know like the gravity of the situation, how bad things were getting, and you don't really like have all that time. You have to think quick on your feet. What are you going to do? What's the next step? So it's always good to be prepared, definitely.
All right, light. While not quite as pressing to your survival as food and water, not having light can be a nuisance at best. At worst, it could actually cause injury or even death if you're walking around without the ability to see. In a survival situation, sometimes as seemingly mundane as a broken toe can mean all the difference between life and death. So some sort of source of light is a must. As stated above, you can stockpile batteries for your flashlight, but if there's an EMP attack, those batteries are going to be useless. I did not know that.
I know, that's wild. That's wild.
What if you put them in a Faraday pack? Right? I don't know. This is also true of LED headlamps and other sources of electric light. It's not that having them is a bad idea, but if you can count on them to actually work, so while the Red Cross warns against us using candles, keep some on hand. Just be sure to keep them in your proper holders and not putting our candles near anything flammable. Yeah, that would be me. I'd be carrying my little candle everywhere. I'm afraid of the dark. That doesn't no.
Yeah, it's a good thing that I have a lot of candles to light up. So another one, communication.
Hold on. There's a documentary, Down, Power Up. Oh, thanks for that. Not worried if the grid goes away. I'm covered. But after seeing what happened in Katrina, I'm worried about prescription meds for older. Yes. So I know that I was watching a video and the guy was talking about having extra medication,
it's always
because
good, yeah.
It's scary.
So communication during a power outage is important. You will need to be able to collect your family members who aren't anywhere nearby. At the time, you'll want to communicate with your family members on the other side of the country or even on the other side of the world. There's just one problem. And in the event of a massive attack like an EMP, you're not going to be able to have any of those options of communication. Even your diesel power generator won't work because the circuit board on every electrical device you own will be fried. Wow. So here's what you'll need to know. The FCC requires that all cell phone towers have a 4-hour battery backup. That means that they're not going to withstand a prolonged outage due to hackers. In the event of an EMP, the battery is going to be drained right away. In theory, the EMP wouldn't affect the landlines, but it would affect the relaying centers used to connect phone calls. And what's more, your HAM radio also isn't going to work.
That's the walkie-talkie, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, however, under virtually every other scenario, including the power grid getting knocked out by hackers, your electronic devices will continue to function properly, provided that you have alternate power sources. Beyond that, your cell phone is just going to work for at least 4 hours after the power grid goes down. Use your time wisely when communication gets knocked out. Wow.
Here we go. Carbon monoxide. You might have carbon monoxide detectors all around your house, but chances are you've never taken the subject very seriously. You worry about other unlikely disasters like house fires and burglars. But if there's a power outage, not only are you going to have no detectors to let you know about a leak, you're also going to be living in a world where the leak is far more likely.
Wow.
Unless it's a fireplace, it's not a good place for starting a fire indoors. All indoor fires should be in a fireplace, and all open fire cooking could be done outdoors. If you are using a generator, don't use that in any enclosed space, including your garage, because this can easily leak into the house. um, yeah. So basically, you won't have detectors. So how will you know?
Yeah. So, summer. The summer offers unique challenges for those without power. For example, the news doesn't put up those extreme heat warnings for little kids, the elderly, and pets because they like to hear themselves talk. They do it because extreme heat can be dangerous. We've already covered water, which is the absolute essential when it comes to extreme heat. You need to stay cool and you need to stay hydrated. An increased need for hydration means that your water supply is going to go faster. You want to drink a gallon of water every day, or basically the entire allotted supply of water for the day. You should also try to stay cool and open windows on breezy days. Wear lighter colored clothing and working during cooler hours when possible. Cold showers can be a great way to stay cool in the if the water supply is still working. Watch out for heat stroke, which can kill. The signs of heat stroke include nausea, weakness, dizziness, confusion, hot or dry skin. Remember that alcoholic or caffeinated drinks can dehydrate you in the long run, so avoid those on hot days.
No alcohol.
How are you going to cope with all this?
All right, guys. So the winter, the biggest problem you're going to encounter in the winter is opposite. How are you going to stay warm? Your power supply might be cut off along with your electricity, so you should have some old-fashioned off-grid fuel sources to keep you warm. As we've stated above, carbon monoxide poisoning is an issue, so keep those precautions in mind. So the clothing recommended above should be done precisely in reverse. Dark colors and heavy clothes will keep you warm. Layering is your friend. Everyone sleeping in the same room can help heat up with compounded body heat. Investing in sleeping bags, especially for winter camping, can help you and your family keep warm when the power goes out. Just as summer, you need to be worried about heat stroke and dehydration as well as hypothermia when in the winter months roll around. Here are some symptoms: numbness in the extremities, stumbling, excessive shivering, a slowed heart rate, lethargy, confusion, and delirium. Anytime you or your family member is being suffered from any of the above, get warm fast. All right. So in conclusion, Eileen.
A lot, there's a lot that you need to consider. And these are really good tips, to stay prepared, give ideas of
surface level,
Yeah.
Dave said not true with older diesel generators. See, yeah, I think you're right. Like, there has to be something.
Oh.
Bear independent, not internet. Sorry.
Oh.
Sorry. Ex-military special forces got some really good stuff. Thank you, Blues. Hexen got 3. Oh, so he's good. See? Headaches is the first sign of carbon monoxide. I'm always having headaches. I won't be able to tell. I'll be like, man, I don't know.
Another day, huh?
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So, let's stay safe, right?
Yeah.
Let's stay prepared. I mean, I don't think that I like to hoard water, but I don't think I have enough. I mean, with how much we need, I don't think I have enough. So, I think that it would be a good idea to store more. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
because you do have water, you do, like, it's almost up to the ceiling. But yeah, I get
I'm the water hoarder in Costco, guys. So, you never know.
Yeah.
But my kids, all they drink is water.
Yeah.
Like, they're not big, like, they don't drink soda at all, or they drink juice, but not as often as they do water. So, like, I think a gallon would definitely not be enough for my family. So that's why I kind of hoard water, because, we drink so much. But anyways, any last thoughts?
It's good to be prepared. I feel like that's the final thought I have. Like, it's good to know what to do, what to have, how to prepare.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, that's what we have for you tonight. Hopefully we'll be back next week. I know my schedule's been getting really busy, so we've been trying to make time. Eileen's schedule's been really busy too. So we've been trying to kind of make time to be here and do a show and spend some time with our friends online. So hopefully next week we'll be able to be here again.
Yeah.
But yeah, we appreciate everybody that showed up, and hope to see you guys soon.
Yeah, next time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.